What's up, everybody? Ian Walsh here, Hard Money Bankers. Joined with a partner, Josh, Hard Money Bankers. Josh, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good. We have an awesome guest today. A seasonal guest because it's that time of year. We've had Brian Reed on the show before, so Brian is a realtor, broker as well, right?
I'm not a broker.
Okay.
I never wanted that additional responsibility.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Rent your license out. It's just a lot of responsibility. But Brian is a mega agent at the Jersey Shore. He does a lot of business and has been doing a lot of business for quite some time. And the reason we have him on the show is because the market has been changing, and we've been having people on, once every 6 months to kind of see where things are as the market shifts under our feet. So for the Jersey Shore, there is no other better player to do that than Brian. So Brian, what's new in the world of the Jersey Shore?
So we are back to multiple offers, no inspection. Come and get it. Over asking if you can.
Wow.
So we are very predictable for the next 3 months. May, June, and July will be all hands on deck. Get as many listings as you can, because every listing will equal a sale. That's just kind of the market we're in. And for those people that don't list properties, we're back to that 2020 timeframe where you better put yourself in the best position to win. And to do that, it all comes down to asking the right questions to the other agent.
What do you attribute that to? Like, why do you think we're back? How did that happen? The interest rates really haven't.
So our typical downturn is in October through December, January. And we haven't really had that downturn for 3 years or more, potentially 4, where the prices will drop a bit and interest rates wouldn't affect anything. But what happened was the national news said, hey, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And people said, you know what? Interest rates are high. I'm hoping they'll dip back down. They didn't. The housing stayed up in price, didn't dip. Inventory stayed low in price. And people finally said after a few months, nothing's changing. If I want the house, I need to go get it. The people who made out the best were October to like December, January buyers who maybe were able to finesse a little bit off the sales price, get their home inspection, and maybe negotiate some corrections. And that's just not going to happen again.
That's crazy. That's crazy that we're back there. I mean, that's just simply just the fear of media driving people into that position. That's wild, because I guess people are just still okay with paying high numbers on property, and that's cool. That's great for you guys. That's great for that scene. What well, let's talk a little bit then about, like, I know that you've been capturing some market share and stuff, and you're in a new office right now. Talk to us what's going on in your world then, especially taking advantage of the fact that the market's moving again and you're positioned to take advantage of that.
So what's ironic is my office was in Avalon, just my office, for about 7 years. And an opportunity came up to be back in North Wildwood, where I do a majority of my business. Because I've had a couple people say, well, I've had to defend that I sell in the Wildwoods, which is really, really funny, because the last time I really looked at the numbers was 2 years ago, and we sold 153 units, and 131 of them were in the Wildwoods. So people would say, hey, well, what do you know about the Wildwoods? And I would go to tell them who their neighbor was, what they sold for, just off the top of my head in the first couple minute conversation, and everything about their block. And an opportunity came up for me to occupy a spot. And I talked to my brokerage, and they said, well, why don't we open you they call it an AEL, satellite office, whatever it would be. So I spent the last couple months getting this ready. We're officially licensed with the state now. We're good to go. I might sell a home a year in Avalon and Stone Harbor, with the majority of the properties being here in the Wildwood. So it feels good. I have my coffee all set up, a bunch of different things. And it's going to be more of a high collaboration area with my team. Builders, developers, buyers, and sellers. It's going to be like an open door policy. Like, come in, I'll be here. let's figure out how to position you in the best position to win.
Whoa, there goes Brian.
Sorry,
There
I
he is,
got
back. I got you back.
Yeah, but yeah, to me, it's. I don't consider this an office, but a collaboration center. A little mindset is everything, and to me, it's still there. It's there for the taking. It's doing the next right thing. And for me, it's asking all the right questions, of the buyers and sellers and of the other agents to be able to secure that property for your client when there's a multiple offer situation.
Go ahead, Josh.
Brian, I got a question for it. Yeah, I got a question about Wildwood. So are you seeing, was it more so buyers were looking at Wildwood and comparing it to Avalon or Long Beach Island or something and saying, well, this isn't quite the vacation town that I was looking for, and there's been a demographic shift, or is this is where you're seeing the business?
So just like every other market, people who want it and had a champagne taste and wanted on in Stone Harbor, and they wanted a 4-bedroom townhome that they were used to spending $750, $850 for, and now those numbers are 1.5 plus. They're discovering that build in North Wildwood right over the bridge, or go over to Sea Isle and get a brand new construction for 1.8. They, 6 bedrooms, 4 baths. They can come over and build a single family in North Wildwood in a beautiful area. The Wildwoods are very, very unique. Everyone who is not familiar with the Wildwood considers Wildwood singular. It's all one place. Wildwood Crest is a dry town and is as quiet as can be. I'll take it over Ocean City all day long for the quietness and the peacefulness of the town. North Wildwood gets pulled into Wildwood, but that, to me, driving through all the towns later at night, actually should have a better reputation than what Sea Isle does. Because in North Wildwood, you don't see people waiting for a jitney passed out along the side of the road, waiting to go back into town or coming from town. And these are just blanket statements, and I sell in Sea Isle as well. But I think Wildwood's reputation has really come down. There's come around, and people are coming down to the Wildwoods and seeing the value and realizing the rentals in Wildwood are better than every other place in price per dollar. So a $450,000 condo, you're getting probably $3,000 plus per week in rent. You're getting a 1-bedroom now in Avalon that you can, for that price, that you'll hope to get $2,600 in rentals. And that goes all the way across the board. The people from all over may want to say something negative about the Wildwoods, but they're all coming down here to use the amusement park. They're coming down here to go to the restaurants, the piers, the boardwalk one night a week. And we just see, it's a massive shift, especially from the Philly market, of people who got tired of the eviction moratorium, sold their apartment complexes, and are doing Airbnb down here, and are absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you still see a lot of post-COVID exodus owner occupancy in these areas now still? Is that still happening?
So I'm seeing a lot of post-COVID motel sales, multifamilies, properties have, there's a big article in Business Journal that I was cited in, a couple other places. There, you have a lot of properties that needed massive reconstruction and or redevelopment in these hotels. It's structural stuff, things like that. They just need to be gutted and redone. And you're seeing those hotels, 20, 30 units selling for $2-3 million, and then being converted to condos and selling out at $250 to $350 a unit. And, after undergoing a big change, and the multifamilies, people are kind of cashing in. The hotel owners, it was a retirement. The same with some of the multifamily owners down here. And they're all going to the Airbnb style. Some of the businesses are buying the multifamilies instead of having to rent the place for their J1 students that come over to work in the boardwalk. They're buying rooming houses and things like that, fixing them up, and just putting their workers in there. They don't have to worry about renting from somebody else. So, and some of those places are open year round. So they're providing occupancy for people that, may be more transient than normal.
So you think
go ahead, Josh.
well, sorry, you think the transient market is going to go more towards the short-term rentals, and you think that hotels and apartment buildings will slowly phase out in the shore markets?
It's been doing that for decades.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I just bought a small hotel myself. 3 1-bedroom units, a 3-bedroom unit, and 4 2-bedroom units. We're going to, we're in the midst of rehabbing that, but we're going to do long-term rentals. We want to rent to one person or one family for the whole season. I don't have time, do the Airbnb style. I could make at least 1.5 times what I'll make by renting it weekly or through an Airbnb 3 to 4 days. I just don't have the time nor the mental energy to deal with that kind of turnover, and we'll call it friction.
Yeah. I get. Well, it's moving parts. It's an additional. Anytime you add something like that, I feel like in a business, people are like, "Oh, just add a rental." It's like what you're saying. It's like no. It's like how many headaches do I want to add first, and then decide do I really want the money enough for that? Because there's always moving parts, right? Like passive income, like there's always some involvement in passive income. It just is the case. When you look at the what does it cost to like have like a seasonal rental in like one of those units? Like what would that cost?
So for a 1-bedroom, probably, we're talking, this will be totally redone. You're probably looking at $1,000 a block.
18 grand for a season.
Correct. Memorial Day to maybe even the end of September, depending on
how much.
18.
What was that?
18,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So, but with in turn, I could probably Memorial Day weekend get 1,000 for the weekend, and then the couple weeks I could probably get 1,000 per week, if not more, and then 2,000 a week in each of the summer months, and then the extended season in September, October, go back to that 1,000 or so, if not more, a week. And I own a couple other properties. I own a 3-bedroom in North Wildwood that'll rent under market rate for 25 grand. That pays my mortgage for the year. I own a little property in Cape May that'll rent full season, $20,000 or so a year. I'm not looking for the passive income. For me, I had 15-year mortgages on these, other than the hotel. And for me, as long as I'm paying my mortgage, if I have to go in my pocket $5 grand a year for 15 years, that's 75,000, and I'll get my down money back. And the houses will sell for 500,000, and I'll pay 75 out of pocket. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's also most appealing thing is less headaches. Like because if you were to try to do that with mortgages, then you're getting 20, 30 units, 40 units, whatever it is. That's 20 times the amount of headaches. Like I guess it's what probably all of us get older with time. You're just like headaches, less headaches first, money second, and it just seems to work out better that way, right? Like it just seems to work out.
I don't really work as much in the summertime because most of the places are either occupied or they're rented. So the rentals are Saturday to Saturday. So you have between 10 and 2 to show property in the summertime.
Okay.
There's still people on the island that were here from the previous week. And then people that are leaving. Parking is a nightmare. You can't even have someone follow you to go see property. So it's really like, hey, if you want to come down and see it, it's 10 to 2 on a Saturday, and we're going to go look at a couple properties. And that's really it. So, and for me, I've learned in 18 years that if you're deciding that you want to come by and you want to go look at property in July and August, you just have sand in your shoes. You were just down for a weekend or a week with somebody else, and you're like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could buy a property?
Yeah.
I just have a dedicated line. Listen, there's going to be more inventory in September and October. The prices may be coming down. Come back and look at that point, you're going to have a better selection. Let's just push it off.
You probably say that in your sleep, right? Yeah, so, yeah. I know that face. I know that sound.
Yeah.
I like my son. So I must say the exact same thing on the phone every day. So my son, who's 7, decided to all of a sudden just started to just say what Ian says. I say on the phone, and with verbatim like what I say. I'm like, I must say this, and I started thinking about it. Like, I probably say that like 10,000 times a year, probably. I was like, and my son probably hears maybe 2,000 of them. Then he just started like saying, "This is Ian Walsh. Here's my phone number." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, What is going on? But we all have like those automatic things that you just turn your brain off and you just say this thing, and that's probably one of yours, right? Like you just boop, like just come back in September.
And the great part about it is, the longer you do this, and the more successful you are, the more interest you have in others' best interests, right? So, I tell people a lot of times, one of my famous is, I don't have to sell you a house to put food on my table. I'm doing okay. So let's put you in the best position for you and your family. I have a 16-year-old daughter. I'm going to put you tell me you want an area that, I would feel safe with my daughter walking up to the boardwalk, or going to do this or going to do that. I'm going to tell you where I've lived, what I like about certain areas. And for me, I walk into a property, I'm going to pick out defects in the property as soon as we go in there to disarm my client and let them know that I'm not here just to sell them a property. And I think those things that become automatic aren't salesy. They're just sincere and true. And, you can't say it over and over and not mean it.
Sure. That's true too. That's it's an interesting perspective that you had. It's like the feeling of abundance, right? Because like in the beginning, when you can't sell any properties or you're new, you're going to come off salesy and you're going to come off. But but what you should be doing is selling, like, well, not even selling, but just like putting the client's interest first. But the reality is you're doing that because you're like, okay, at some point you realized I don't have to like go nuts hustling here. Like, it might as well just put my clients first, truly put them first. And when you truly do that, all of a sudden you probably like tripled your income doing that. Right. So it's like, it's that paradox is really interesting, I think, to get a hold of. And honestly, I don't really know anybody that's done that, like put the cart before the horse correctly. It feels like you kind of have to, there's a hustle phase, there's a grind phase that you go through, and then you kind of reach what you're talking about. I don't know anybody that's actually pulled that off the other way around, but if they can listen to this and get that information, that would be a good thing to do.
I still grind. I go down to Florida a lot, and that's why I have agents that fill my weaknesses. My weaknesses are follow up with clients that want to look at properties over the next 6 months. Go. If you're not looking to buy, when you see the property that you like, I'm going to give you this one of my agents that, fits your criteria. Hey, you like Star Wars and you like My Little Pony. I got an agent for you. You like someone who's like hard nosed, wants to be in Ocean City, and you want a little bulldog. I got that agent as well, right? So for me, like, I was just down in Florida for 2 weeks. We have a little place in Fort Myers. I put 5 units under contract. Now, 3 of them were my listings, and 2 were one I got both sides of that one of my agents showed for me, and then the other was a lead that I gave to the agents, and they went and closed the deal. And I don't necessarily want to go and spend 3 hours showing property, unless we're looking at just a couple properties and they were a referral to me, and I'll take them out. And repeat clients and things like that. And there's times, but any lead that I get, for the most part, that's a buyer, especially if I'm busy, just goes to somebody else.
That's good. I mean, you know what you want and you know how you work best, and you got it figured out. What's on deck and for you right now? Like, what's your next big move?
Well, opening the office.
That's a big move, right?
I'm not really recruiting. I mean, this wasn't even a goal of mine, but to me, I look at everything that comes across my plate, and I'm not going to be actively recruiting agents. I We have like 5 or 6 that are, on my team, and 3 or 4 that go after it very, very actively. And, I've had some discussions with some agents, but my model is I'm looking for someone who's been in the industry 4+ years. That's just a little bit stagnant. They know how to draw their own contracts. They don't need me to reach them by the hand. But if they're looking to double their income by way of lead generation and learning different perspective ways to go about the business, and to be honest with you, behind me here, the mindset, it really is just talking to certain people to getting them to look at things differently. I had a conversation this morning. Yeah, it's the whole I have to do this, or do you get to do this? Just that little thing, like in your mind and in your body, anxiety and excitement produce the same effect to your body. It's how you react, right? So, if they're both doing the same thing to me and I'm all full of anxiety, I really have to switch. Like, I should be excited. I have the opportunity to come on and talk to you guys, right? And the reason why we get anxiety, I think, and get feared up is we haven't done a proper preparation. If you're fully prepared to go into something, you're going to be able to go and crush it. You're not going to be nervous. You're going to have it down pat. Without proper preparation, you're not going to have proper execution. And I think where people get full of anxiety is that they're not prepared. And that's what I like to do, is prepare people to be able to do what they're capable of. I don't think anybody other than David Goggins pushes himself beyond the point where they really.
Okay. Yeah.
Including
that's quite a bar.
But there's still meat on the bone. There's no doubt.
Yeah. I like it, man. Well, as always, Brian, I love having you on the show. I tell anybody, anytime anybody asks me, who do I talk to down the shore? I go down there myself frequently. Like I do a lot of day trips. Like I'm just like close enough, so I'll shoot down there. We stay over there too. But Jersey Shore is an awesome place to be. If you're anywhere local here, like there's really nothing better to do first of all, if you can work from home, like take advantage of it, go down during the week. But like there's no like single better thing you can do around here. Like spend your time, and there's nothing more therapeutic than the beach. I mean, I don't have to tell you, Brian. I'm just kind of saying to the audience, like you obviously you live it. So but if anybody wanted to contact you, I just want to have your information here at the bottom. It's been scrolling, elitebeachrealtor@gmail.com. Brian is the guy to go to down there. I recommend anybody that we're dealing with that asks, go to Brian. So Brian, I appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll do it again in 6 months.
Sounds good.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Brian. See you, man.
See you guys.